Now, Henry, if you're having a hard time deciding, I do recommend you go with the steak, but rare.
Well, ma'am, I hate to break it to you, but I'm vegan, so I can't have no rare steak.
Could you maybe partake in a rare video game, which is this week's episode of Easy Mode?
I'll definitely take one of those.
Hello, everybody. That is Henry K, my ho-co,
My host, little Freudian slip. I'm gonna take it from here. That's delayed Dale. She's got a sty in her eye and she doesn't want me to tell you about it.
My ho-host, and this is Easy Mode with your professionally casual gamers. You know, it's us. We're professionally casual. This, like Henry said, we're talking about, the rare games today.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about not only the ones that you can no longer buy that are expensive, but ones that have been vanished from the world. Maybe some that have even been brought back from the dead. We don't know.
Some that don't live digitally anymore.
Digitally,
we can't find them online.
It all has to be physical. It has to be physical. I will say before we do jump into the episode, if you do like what you're listening to, please give us a follow. Follow us on our socials. We love to interact with you, especially on Twitter. Twitter do be popping because people love to talk about how much we love to get into like little flips. If you remember last episode, Henry was on the door and I wasn't. That was quite the controversy on Twitter. So do connect with us on our socials.
Yes, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube and leave a review for the show as well on Apple or on Spotify. It really helps the show and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. But without further ado, I'm going to dive in and get some clarity on these games.
Tell me about it, stud. All right, Dale. So as we both know, you and I don't have a lot of money. A subject of conversation for us both, especially when we talk about our plans to finally meet in person. But
this is true.
You're going to tell us about some video games, some very rare video games, some very expensive video games.
Yes.
That you and I can't afford now, but maybe one day we will.
It's not even that we might. The value's only going to increase. But we might actually have one of these games. We could potentially, make a coin or two. I highly doubt it, but you know what? Yes. Also, how dare you say that we're broke? I mean, it's true, but it hurts. I don't want to be slapped with reality. All right, so I'm just gonna begin. And while I was reading this list, it was quite shocking. So the list was 50, but I've only picked 5. So the first one that I'm gonna start off with is the most expensive one on the list. Okay.
Yeah, start big.
So I'm gonna tell you about it, and as I'm telling you about it, and to you listeners too, you're gonna be thinking like, how much? I mean, she said it's most expensive. Okay, but just hear me out. 1990 Nintendo World Championships Gold. The console was for the NES. Nintendo held a competition in 1990 in search for the greatest NES player, sending a team across the United States to compete using a special championship cartridge. The cartridge contained a single level from each of the several games used in the competition, as well as a physical DIP switches to toggle between them. So this was like an actual competition to find the best NES player ever. And I just want to let everybody know, I don't think I was born then. So the best player wasn't available.
I'll say
was me.
If they would have started this after 1992, I would have been there. I don't care if I was 1 at the time. I would have been there.
You would have been there. So there were originally over 1,000 cartridges used throughout the entire competition, and the winners were given commemorative cartridges, while the majority of the remainder were repurposed for the upcoming Campus Challenge event. So now that you know that there's only 1,000, only 90 gray and 26 gold carts are confirmed to exist.
Oh my God.
In 2014, one of the gold cartridges was sold at an auction for how much money do you think?
I don't know.
$100,000.
Oh, I was going to guess 50, but that's double what I thought.
$100,000, yeah. The buyer insisted the bid was a mistake, but who wouldn't want the opportunity to raise their hands on this piece of Nintendo history?
A mistake?
How would you can't make a mistake in those kind of things. You can't take it back.
They were like, oops, $100,000.
I did it again.
Also,
Maybe they wanted, what? Sorry, continue.
This is like esports before esports.
This is.
Yeah.
This is maybe the origin of esports.
This is like esports on paper. You got to play the game.
How do you get, I want to ask people who competed back then, maybe if they want to chat with us, but how did they get you to compete? What was the credential? What was the qualifications for you to get a copy to compete?
How they even
how were they judging?
It? Yeah.
Exactly. How did this come to light? Because was the internet super prevalent then? I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly. So who was it? Word
Maybe
of mouth?
like
Who you knew?
magazines and stuff.
Magazines?
Yeah.
But there's a delay.
Like letters. Well,
yeah. I mean, yeah, snail mail, but
what
it's kind of
else?
crazy. So this next game, I have never heard of it in my life.
Okay.
Maybe you have. It's called Gamma Attack.
No.
1983. The console was on Atari. So the game is so rare that no one even knows how much it's worth. Because only one copy is known to exist.
One?
And it's owned by, one. Anthony DiNardo, who listed the super rare game on eBay for $500,000 in 2008. But the game it's one of a kind. There were literally no bidders. So like, it's so rare. They don't know how much it's actually worth. And like nobody bought it, obviously. But they have said that the actual cartridge, it's hidden from the public, but the ROM, so that you can find the game online and you can find gameplay of the game online, even though I've never heard of it. But yeah, somebody put it on friggin' eBay for $500K and nobody can be like, how much is this game actually worth? So no one really knows the price of this game.
You know what we should do?
Gamma Attack. What?
Scam. And this is how we're going to do it. We are going to find a cartridge and we're going to put a sticker on it. And we're going to be like, look at this game that was never released. You never heard of. They only made one copy of it. And then we're going to sell it not for $500,000, but for like a reasonable $10,000. We'll split it. We each get $5K. We disappear off the internet, never to be seen again.
$5K is not even enough for you to take the subway in the city you live in.
It's
and you want
true.
to disappear off the internet.
That's like a Friday
5K.
night out.
Also, I love how you're just like, yeah, let's you and I do this amazing idea. And to everyone who's listening, don't even bother. Like,
Big scandal.
Big scandal. What is it? Girl boss?
Gatekeep, gaslight. No, we're going to be the next... what is that? So like that girl who pretended she was an heiress in New York, who like who's like,
oh, yeah.
I wired you the money. I don't know why you're acting like this. I wired you the money already. You know,
was this the Netflix series?
Yeah, Anna something.
Okay. Yeah.
That's gonna be
Finding
us.
Anna or something. I don't want to be
looking for someone on there.
I'm not trying to be a part of your crime scene.
I love a
okay?
scam.
Finally, well, not finally, in the next one, I guess finally you stop talking so I can continue.
You're like, I'm done.
Super Mario Bros. 1983. So this is on the console NES. And while it's not like a super rare game, if you have the box, like the factory sealed copy with like the box and the seal hasn't been broken, you can get up to $30,000 for it. Which I think is like actually crazy. That's not bad for like a game. But like my problem is, and I don't know how they would not have the urge to just like rip the plastic or like open it up. You know, like I cannot. I recently went to a comic book store and they have like these like comics that are supposed to like increase in value. They will never be open from the container. Like you buy in the container and it never opens up. And I was just like, how do people do this? I would want to like break in and look.
Yeah.
Like I don't have it in me to like hold out on that, you know?
I wish I was someone who like had that instinct or urge to think about the value of something for later. But I mean, maybe because like I don't have money, I don't think about like that in the future. I was like, I've never had it, so I can't miss something I don't have. So like, I'm like, great, I'm going to live and have the experience instead. But like when I think about like these games, like some of which I've had, or like things that are rare, like, oh, you know, like a Pikachu card or a Charizard card or things like that. I'm like, oh, I probably had something like that, but like I used it and now like.
Yeah, if you used it, the value does go down too. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? Not enjoy it? Like I never had the kind of money to just like buy for future like investment.
I don't
like
have
for
the
games
foresight
and stuff.
for it. Like,
no, I just want to enjoy it. I know there's people out there who like love to collect and stuff, and good for you. But for me, I tend to rip things open as soon as I get them.
Too.
Yeah,
and I don't have the money to buy 2 copies. So well.
Usually they're gifted to me. I'm like, thank you. Have you heard of the game Mega Man?
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
yes, of course I have.
Oh
we talked about it recently.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you remember. No, that was a test for you.
You know, honestly, good idea to test me on that because these days, I don't know what's going on.
The joke was going to be like, obviously I do. And you're like, yeah, that was okay.
I was like, she's
Mega
really
Man 5. Mega Man 5 in 1994. So this game was actually not popular when it launched because they were releasing so many copies of like, it was Mega Man 1 all the way up to 5. So 5 was not super successful. However, the game is like a rare game to get now, and it's $2,500 on the Game Boy console.
Ooh, it's on Game Boy?
But you can still find it online to play, like the mobile version. Mega Man 5 is one of the most sought after rarities in the gaming market. Sealed copies can go up for $2,500, with loose copies selling for around $100. So even if you have it like used, $100. There you go. And yeah, there is a mobile version. You've never actually played Mega Man, but the art's cute.
I played the revival of the Mega Man series. I think it was on Nintendo. Sorry, it was on the Game Boy Advance. What was the square one? No, what was the square one that came after Advance?
Cube.
No, handheld.
Oh, square one that can't.
Nintendo DS, but not 3DS.
Okay. What was the one that was just like
the square?
Yes, it was.
No, was it just an advance? A type of advance?
I think it was an advance.
I think so too. I have played this Mario Man, we're just making up fucking people now. Mega Man game on
it's
there.
It's a rare game. Sticker on it. 10K,
Never heard of
5K
it.
each.
I played the Mega Man revival on Game Boy Advance, and I loved it actually. But those games were hard back in the day. On the Super Nintendo, the Mega Man franchise.
Why were they so hard?
Was difficult.
I thought you were like a super strong,
Well,
gamer.
Turns out I'm not. This is called easy mode, where we're professionally casual. I think.
Scroll back to like 10 minutes when you were like after 1992. It doesn't even matter if I'm one. I'm number one.
I don't think I ever beat a single game as a child.
Some might say you've never beat a single game now. Ooh, shots
Some might
fired.
be. I mean, those people are probably right. I can't think of the last game I finished.
So when I saw this next game on the list, I was like, hold on a second. Am I about to make like some money? Because the final game that I've added is a game that I actually have. And I'm pretty sure many of you guys do have this game. If you ever owned like the GameCube console, you might own Luigi's Mansion that came out in 2001. The price of this game goes for $2,500. Okay. The game on its own isn't rare, but early editions are another story. So if you have one of the first copies and it's factory sealed, you can get over like $2,500. However, those of us who have it and we've played it and had an absolute blast with it, we might be able to get 100, maybe 5.
That's not
Somebody
bad.
might give you a handful of almonds. That might be me.
That's all I have to offer. That's a lot of money. I know a few people who have Luigi's Mansion, but they obviously all played it.
It's kind of crazy to see like that price for that console because it's
not that
super old, Yeah.
And also the thing I think about like when games like Luigi Mansion, I'm like, does it have to be playable? I'm like, because my disc used to get so scratched up.
Well, obviously it has to be playable.
Oh, lame. I just thought you wanted it to have it. Are you sure? I don't know. Like for a collecting purpose?
Well, you wouldn't ever want to get something that's not playable or good because
because the point
value.
of it is like that the game exists. Yeah, otherwise it's just a disc. All right, we got it.
It's called a scam. You're on your scam.
Yeah, we're on the
right now.
scam mindset.
My God, I am not associated with the scam train.
So the games they don't work and that's okay.
Oh my God, this sticker, rarity. What did you call it? Mario Man?
Mario Man. Have you heard of this rare game called Mario Man?
Mario Man 5. Yeah, exactly. No, I actually haven't. Do you want to tell me more about it?
Actually, I'll tell you more about some lost games, much like maybe Mario Man, after we come back from a little break, Dale. How does that sound?
I love that. That sounds like you need to, let me take a break.
Sounds like I'm going to scam you into something. That's what it sounds
like. I'm afraid. Okay. Much like our minds, considering we tend to lose ourselves, lose our thoughts. Some might say we never had any, brain cells, they're gone.
I might say
We're going to talk about some. Yeah, you said that about me. I'll say that about you. That's right. Shots fired back at you. You're going to tell us about some games that are not only rare to play, but they're gone from the main accessibility, which I'm excited for. Just tell me. Do tell me and fill me in.
So I'm going to start off by saying there are a lot of games that have disappeared from the purchasing, being able to buy in a digital sense. A lot of that has to do with licensing. A lot of companies won't keep up their licensing, especially for older franchise games. So that often makes them disappear from a digital collection, so no longer accessible. Obviously, those physical games do live on and become rarer and rarer over the years, but that isn't often a big trend we see when games are gone or disappear forever. That's often a big reason. But some of the other reasons are maybe discontinuing. Maybe there wasn't a lot in the first place. Maybe the game manufacturer itself or developer has put an end to it. And I'll tell you about a few cases. My cat wants to jump on the desk right now. I see her.
She needs her moment.
This is my time. This is my section of the podcast. I'm going to tell you about some that are very like sort of historical, notable, or interesting. And I'm going to start off by telling you one that I do actually love, have played a nice amount, and will make an effort to play anytime I do see it, which is obviously very rare considering the title of this episode. But I have seen it on occasion, twice in my life. Growing up in Texas, I don't think you have these in Canada, but there's this pizza chain called Cece's Pizza.
No.
Let me tell you about Cece's Pizza. It's a pizza buffet. They have pasta, they have salad, they have a dessert bar, and those cinnamon rolls were so good.
Cool.
And they have pizza, of course, for $4.99 all you can eat.
Oh my God. That's a lot of pizza.
It is. It was the best time. And they always had in the back these like small arcade rooms that were like maybe like 8 to 10, maybe like a 2 claw game, some like a driving game, and of course some like arcade games, some shooting games. But one that was at a few Cece's Pizzas growing up was a classic TV show. I don't know if you watched it. The Simpsons.
The Simpsons,
Were you a Simpsons fan growing up?
No, I was watching it, and then my aunt visited us and said, this is not a show that you should let your children watch, so we're not allowed to watch The Simpsons anymore.
I had a similar experience with Rugrats, but I'll tell that.
Rugrats?
I'll share that later. It's for another episode.
Yeah, okay.
But The Simpsons had an arcade game. It's a 4-player arcade game where you play as Homer, Marge, Lisa, or Bart, and they each have like unique move sets with unique like tools. Lisa had a jump rope, Bart had a skateboard, Marge had a vacuum. I don't remember what Homer had actually, because obviously I never played as Homer. But very exciting gameplay. It was like there was awesome combo attacks, really cool levels, special power-ups, really fun bosses. And I always played that at the arcade game. Like I would, anytime I see it, I'd be like, this is the game for me. I try to see if I go further every time. Eventually they did publish a digital version of that game that you could play online. So great. So fun. It sort of had that sort of classic. It was that sort of slide screen setting that you had on a fighting game. So like you fight, you beat that area, you sort of move forward. So they published that digitally. Eventually the publisher took it off online, so if you didn't already own it, you don't already have it. And then now, obviously, through time, arcade machines, coin-operated arcade machines break down. There's less services to repair. So now the only places to really find it for like the person like you and me, since you don't own it digitally, it's like random arcades or random bars that still have arcade machines. It's the only place you can still play this Simpsons arcade game that people like really, really loved. It was very, very popular, especially like in that IRL setting.
You know, my local arcade does not have that because, you know, like the arcade bars are becoming really popular now. But they have like some older games, but I've never seen like the Simpsons.
Yeah.
I know like pinball is like super popular though.
Yeah, we have a few. We have a chain here in New York. It's called Barcade. The Barcade near my job, they do have the Simpsons arcade game.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when I come visit you, shall we play it? Is it like 1v1? Can
no,
I fight you?
it's a 4 versus the story of the game.
The entity.
Yes.
Okay.
Us Homer and Marge are going to fight like that.
Obviously.
But that's the only place to find them. And it was such a popular game, and now it's just becoming rarer and rarer. A lot of people said it was popular just because of the Simpsons name being attached to it, but a lot of people really love the gameplay. I think it's a blast. I love seeing how far I can go on it every time I have the opportunity to.
And how far have you gone?
I don't know. I don't know how the game works really. I just go and button mash. I'm an adult. I'm in a barcade. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, if you're at a barcade, you're not really there to you're there to drink and play socially.
Yeah. I'm like, there to chat, there to talk, have a good time. The next one for you is really fun, Dale. It is sort of out of the digital. Well, it is digital, but sort of out of instead of not really console. This is a mobile game I'm going to tell you about, and there's no way that everyone listening and you and your family haven't heard about this, and your cat. And that game is Flappy Bird.
Oh my God, I remember this, and there was such drama.
Flappy Bird was a like social movement like in history, especially with mobile games like on the iPhone.
Yeah, and then the guy he had to release an apology because people were going insane, and then he removed it, right? Didn't he have some sort of apology? I can't remember what he apologized for, but I just remember the game is gone.
So I'll tell you exactly what happened. Out of nowhere, so Flappy Bird, huge game, most popular game on the App Store. People are playing it nonstop. Very, very addicting game. Actually a YouTube video has like the record for one time is someone played a game that was like they tapped and like played successfully for a little over 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, which doesn't seem
That's
that
a lot.
long when you think about playing a game, but when it comes to a game like Flappy Bird, where you're just like, the point is to see how long you can survive, 40 minutes is
That's
quite a
long time.
while.
I think I made it up to like maybe level 6. I couldn't go very far.
I wasn't good at it either. I just don't have the patience.
No, same.
But out of the blue, one day the developer said, hey, everyone, sorry, I'm taking this game down. It will be down in 22 hours. I just can't take it anymore. That was it. The game did end up going down in 22 hours. People thought it was maybe because it looked like the game had some Nintendo property in it, like the pipes that that Flappy's flying through. It looked like pipes from Super Mario. However, Nintendo immediately did come out afterwards, because that became such a controversy, and said that they did not take any action against the game or the developer, so they had nothing to do with it. A few days later, the developer of the game said he had so much guilt creating something so addicting that he just couldn't have that game be published or exist anymore. He was just seeing like that, like, I guess like the havoc and like the effect of the game he had created, and he could not handle that morally. So he took the game off.
You can still play the game though. Yeah,
well, actually, he himself published a version later on called Flappy Bird Family. It is like a multiplayer game, and it has sort of like a non-infinite setting, so it's not like a see how far you can go, and that's sort of the addicting factor. However, that is the only game he published. Original Flappy Bird is offline, so anything you see now is clones and copies, but it's not published by the original creator of Flappy Bird.
No, the original, it's gone. Yeah.
Wild, right?
You can play those at they have something like that at my local, like we have rec rooms. Do you guys have rec rooms in the States?
I don't know.
It's like a recreational room where you can play like video games or like actual like arcade games.
Like a Dave and Buster's?
I don't know what that
like
is.
A Chuck E. Cheese?
Maybe.
Like adult Chuck E. Cheese?
Something like, maybe. They have something where it is Flappy Bird still, but it's not the original.
It's like a big screen, right?
Yeah, it's a big screen. You just snap it. Yeah. Okay, we're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like a Dave and Buster's.
Titles. Yeah,
Chuck E.
different
Cheese.
titles. We got a rec room. That's what we call it.
I'm like, that's a gym here sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what's happening over there.
True.
But yeah, I've seen those as well. But they do have it, but not from the original.
I will say that that's so like admirable of what he did, because like he could have totally monetized the shit out of that, you know, like, and he said, no, this is just wrong. People are gonna like not lose their lives over it, but like how many hours are you gonna spend playing a game and you get absolutely nothing from it, you know? So like, that's really respectable. I respect that.
Yep, and the creation of it. There's a lot of responsibility there, and he took it for himself.
Of course.
Yeah,
love that.
He didn't create a bad cycle.
No,
it's good.
No, we didn't.
The next one's very, very fun. I did not get to do this growing up, but socially and the impact that this game had was wild. And that I'm going to tell you, it is an MMO. I guess it would be. Would you consider this game an MMORPG?
Well, what game is it?
It's Club Penguin.
Oh yeah.
What would you call it? Like it's like social, like mass multi.
It is a mass.
Was it a
game.
role playing game? Would you say?
Yeah,
I guess
an MMORPG.
Let us know what you think Club Penguin is if you're listening to this episode. Is Club Penguin comparable to Final Fantasy?
Is it comparable?
To World of Warcraft?
I had more fun playing Club Penguin than Final Fantasy. That's shots fired. But I will say that I always got kicked out of Club Penguin.
How am I not surprised? You're such a little rebel.
But like, I don't know. And then, is it still up? Did they try to revive it or something?
No, so it is down. Sort of a very interesting story. So Club Penguin was developed by a studio called New Horizons. In the 2 years from its launch, the game had gathered a live player base of 30 million players on Club Penguin.
Wait, did you say 2 years
live?
In
2 years live.
2 years, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It got 30 million players. That, of course, was very attractive to none other than your home nation of Disney Canada.
Disney Canada?
Disney Canada ended up purchasing New Horizons and therefore owned Club Penguin.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God, okay.
Club Penguin was like Disney property at the end of its life. So the reason Club Penguin was so popular was because it had a lot of like child safety measures. There was a lot of safety for kids, a lot of safety, whether like wording and interactions, like everything was just highly monitored and controlled. So parents really let their kids go on there and have a good time because it was very, very safe, especially for the internet at that time.
Yeah.
So it got super, super popular. Around 2015, the player base had like started decreasing. And come January 2017, Club Penguin and Disney announced that it would be shutting down its servers for the last time. 3 months later, that March 29th, 2017. Yeah, so just 3 months. They gave a little 3-month notice.
I saw something on TikTok about it coming back.
There was a big movement on social media to bring Club Penguin back, and it's had a few like spurts of like social. I mean, we live in an age of nostalgia, so it's had a lot of like social moments. And I mean, I don't know right now. I mean, it could be coming back, but I don't think it is. However, they on the last day of the game, a lot of like the old and original player base came back to Club Penguin and sort of had a little last social hurrah as the game server shut down, as they do for many of like online games. And you can watch that online. There's a lot of YouTube clips of like last moments of Club Penguin.
I know this isn't on your list and this is still your section, but what you just talked about reminded me of a game that I played, and we were talking about it earlier. If anybody's played this game, please tweet me because I feel like I'm the only one. It might be like a fever dream, but Millsbury. I know you'd never heard of it.
Oh yeah, no clue.
No, I just Googled. I was like, is it up? No, it's not. I loved it. So, okay, cool. That's all I wanted to share. That
let us know if you played some game no one's heard of called Millsbury.
Yeah, Millsbury. It's legit. Okay, continue. Maybe it was Canadian only. I don't know.
One thing I did want to mention, Canadian only games. That is
Canada ruining everything.
Touching on the licensing aspect I touched at the beginning, a lot of the Spider-Man franchise, a lot of the earlier Spider-Man games are completely inaccessible now unless you own a physical copy. So if you do own a physical copy, some of those do sell for an okay amount.
Wow.
But yeah,
the licensing,
Yeah, Activision let their Spider-Man license expire. So games like The Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and Spider-Man Shattered Dimension are no longer purchasable online or digitally or on any console platform. So now, you can only use the physical copies if you have them.
Wow. Yeah. You know what's kind of crazy? What if you owned the online or like owned a digital copy? Would it be removed?
I think if you owned a digital copy, you still have it.
Okay. Because I was going to say, like, I don't buy physical cartridges anymore. Like, I bought like so I could only have everything online on the cloud, Mm-hmm. Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Good God.
And the last one I'm going to touch on is a very, very nice one because it does end up with the game coming back because everyone did want it back. So that was very nice. So Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, obviously a great comic, great movie, and great game. However,
the game is back, yeah.
However, I didn't really know this, that the movie and the game did not get very like good reception.
Yeah, I thought that the movie did really well because everyone kept talking about it, but I think I'm one of those people who, I'll be completely honest with you, I did not like it.
I enjoyed it, but I mean, I also didn't know anything about it. I just thought it was fun and visual. However, I wasn't like invested in the franchise before or after. But like the game and like the movie, the game did not have like a big player base or a big audience and just wasn't super received well, even though it was a very, very fun side scroller, like sort of arcade battle game, much like the Simpsons game.
Yes.
However, it did eventually get discontinued by Ubisoft, to which the dedicated player base, fan base it did have continually demanded for the game to be returned because they really, really enjoyed it. More people wanted to play it. Obviously, that just says Scott Pilgrim has such a cult following. So it is a cult classic.
It does.
And those fans of that, they love their material when you're like a fan of like a niche film like that. So the creator of Scott Pilgrim was like, I would love to bring it back for all of you. However, it's not really in my hands. It's all in Ubisoft. And over the years, Ubisoft sort of like entertained or reacted to like things on social media. Like one time they responded to a tweet about it with like a thinking emoji. And eventually Ubisoft did cave and brought the game back. So now you can play it.
You can play it. And it was released, was it like 2020, I think, and it came out again?
I think you're right.
Yeah, because I remember that's when I like had first started streaming and everyone was ready to stream it.
Yeah.
Like the new Scott Pilgrim. So you're totally right. Then that's kind of when wow.
I know. So what did I end up like
look fun.
It does look fun. And it's multiplayer.
You did end this off on a good note. You started off with stuff that you can only go if you live in New York or, other places that have the arcade. Then we talked about Millsbury. Well, I talked about it, and you said a game that no one's heard of.
That's
so basically
true.
saying that I made this up and I'm gaslighting everybody. Somebody please tell me that you've heard this game.
You're scamming like I am.
Over here. What?
You're scamming like I am. You're like, Millsbury, this rare game.
Millsbury. Okay, and then now we're talking about something that was brought back by popular demand. Wait a minute. So popular demand achieves results?
It can.
Okay, we need to get like a large following, so our popular demand of Concerned Ape coming on.
That's right.
Will be fulfilled.
We'll have like Valkyrie and other big streamers tweet at
Foozly. I love
Concerned
Foozly.
Ape
Concerned Ape, please.
and have
Help out these two
Corpse
individuals that
Husband.
broke.
Please ask Concerned Ape to
Corpse,
be on our
please.
show. Much like Selena Gomez's hit song, And You and I, Dale, we are rare. Like a lot of the games we talked about in this episode.
Wait a second. I thought that Rare was her skincare line.
No, it's also a hit song.
Oh, no, so I'm thinking about her beauty. Okay, never mind. You know what? I don't know nothing about Selena Gomez. I don't know anything. So great hit song.
Much
we know
like your
nothing. We're
knowledge
rare.
about Selena Gomez, it is rare. Like we talked about in
That's
this
right.
episode. I actually love like lore and history like this because it really like gives you a little more fun insight into like culture and collectibles and like the concept of games. And we mentioned it before, specifically on our episode about music, which if you haven't heard it, please listen to that. But the concept of in games and the experiences and these like these softwares and properties being gone forever or just not being super like obscure and not being able to be done anymore is wild to me. It is a fun concept to think about. And then there's a cost associated now with the experience. I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I'll never get to play these things.
And what's really cool about these rare games is when I was going through that list of 50, I only picked 5, but there were some there that I'd never heard of. That's how rare they are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't know many of them. I mean, it was way before my time, so I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. But still, surprising.
I know. When I was doing a little research for this, I saw one for Donkey Kong Country and I was like, I had that game. I was like, I don't want to, and I avoided seeing anything about it because I was like, I don't want to know if it's like, I sell it for $1,000 because I was like, I don't know where it is. I don't want to think about it. I know I had it, but don't tell me.
Yeah. No. Same here. I don't like to know about like, did I get rid of it? How much money could I make? But if I still had it, I don't think I would have sold it. You know what I mean? Like even with these games that have value, I'm not going to sell because I like it. I like to still play and have that nostalgia, right? So
yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah. But
what a fun time.
It was great.
Yes.
Thank you to all the listeners. Again, please tweet us at Easy Mode Show and tell me that you have heard of Millsbury. I need,
And if you haven't, make sure you tweet it as well.
Yeah, basically tweet us yes or no. Dale is insane. Dale is not. Dale's okay. Yeah.
But thanks for hanging out, everyone. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Easy Mode. But until then, keep it easy.
Mode.
Yes, I love that you say that now.